Hello and welcome to the Show Day podcast. Today is July 14th, 2019. Last night, the biggest night of the drum corps competitive season, we had 5 DCI shows scheduled. Drums Along the Rockies did get rained out though, but we still had 4 shows, plus a DCA event that interesting results came out of. I'm going to take a look at that, plus more, and also take a look ahead at what the next week or two bring us on the DCI tour. So that plus more on today's Show Day podcast. So as I said, 4 shows last night. First up, DCI Memphis, Tennessee at the Liberty Bowl. Carolina Crown had the stadium for a few days prior to the event, and then they performed last night with 6 other corps. One open class corps was in attendance, and it was the Guardians from Houston, Texas, their first competitive show of the season. Good results for them came out of this, not necessarily through the roof. Results not like anything that's saying, okay, they're definitely going to be a open class championship contender, but definitely things that make us say, okay, they look to be in a good place. They came out a few points higher than last year, but last year they debuted sooner, so not sure you can take a whole lot from that either. The Guardians, when I look at them, I think of not necessarily a championship contender, not necessarily with Legends and Spartans and Gold, but more in that kind of not going to be contending for finals. They'll be way above that, but like in that 5 through 10 range with Louisiana Stars and Southwind and those kinds of corps that kind of fit into the Golden Empire, throw them in there, that all kind of fit into the middle. And good results last night for the Guardians. No huge numbers on here that make us say, oh, that's a problem. But of course, as they go on, they'll start competing against some other open class corps, and then we'll be able to take more from their results. Over on the world class side of things in Memphis, we came into this season saying, this is going to be the biggest competitive season ever, and this is something I'm going to talk about over the next few weeks. It's not shaping up to be that way. We're seeing a clear runaway of the top 3, Vanguard, Blue Devils, Bluecoats, in no particular order. We're seeing a finals battle that was supposed to feature 7 corps, feature 2 corps, maybe not even 2, maybe not even 1. Really just the big thing, and this is nothing to do with competitive results, but the big thing is the quality of shows is better than ever. I mean, you can look from, let's just use the Bluecoats as the top mark. That show's amazing. Let's go all the way down to the bottom. The quality of shows and what the corps are bringing out, the members, the staff, the design teams, all that is just amazing. And unfortunately, at least this season, it's not contributing to ultra-competitive results. Here at Memphis, general effect, Vanguard up 3/10 over Carolina Crown, 35-3 to 35 even, 34-6 for the Boston Crusaders. The Boston Crusaders were supposed to be in contention for a championship. They're falling short in general effect by almost a point over or under Vanguard, and then you can see the Bluecoats and Blue Devils margin against them is even bigger. Spirit of Atlanta in 4th with a 30.8, Music City 5th at 28.2, and Jersey Surf 6th at 27 even. Over in visual, the only there's 2 things here, and really it's just to do with those top 3. You've got visual analysis, Carolina Crown jumping Vanguard by 2/10 there, and then in color guard, Boston jumps Crown by 2/10, but cannot get to Vanguard. I mean, we saw Boston win color guard last year in Indy, and this season, at least from what I've seen, their color guard is amazing, and the stuff they're doing is amazing, and unfortunately, it's not contributing necessarily as great as they might need it to on the score sheets. When we look at overall visual, as I said, Boston just can't get up there, so you got Vanguard at 26-1. Crown close to Vanguard at 25.95, and the Boston in third at 25.7. In music, we've got in brass, everybody going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got Vanguard at a 17.3, 2/10 over Crown. That's not something we've seen until really last year. Crown's brass, it's always been amazing. It's been invincible. Like nobody can get to them, and now we're seeing the Blue Devils, Vanguard, other corps passing them. And it's not by a ton, but it's just something to watch for as the season goes on. Boston's brass, it's been good, only 4/10 behind Vanguard. I might be looking too much into this, because everybody's. I mean, when you look across here, take out general effect, these three corps are pretty close. But really, it's just not ultra competitive like we once thought it would be. Spirit at a 15.5, Music City in 5th at a 14.2. They scored a 15.2 earlier this week in brass, coming extremely close, 2 or 3/10 to Phantom. Apparently that was totally a fluke because there are points back of that score now. And then Surf down in 6th at a 13.9. Music Analysis, a strong point for the Boston Crusaders in second. You've got Vanguard at 17.2, Boston at 17.1, Carolina Crown in third is 17 even. Spirit back in fourth, 15.4, Music City 14 even, and Surf of 13.5. In brass, you've got Vanguard at 17.1, that's 3/10 up on Crown. And then you've got the Boston Crusaders, 6/10 back. We've seen them struggle in percussion this season. Spirit 4th, Music City 5th, 5/10 above Jersey Surf. When we look at the overall totals at this one, interesting results nonetheless. We got Vanguard at an 87.2, their highest score of the season to date. Can't beat the Bluecoat score that I'll talk about in a second from last night, but not the same shows. Nobody likes to compare scores across the country. So can't take a lot from that, but a high score for Vanguard. I'd expect them to come extremely close to breaking 90 next weekend in San Antonio and really just keep climbing throughout the season. I think these top three, they're going to be close. And even if they're not close, they're going to be really high scores. They're going to be, this is a year, and it doesn't happen every year, where we see scores in the 97, 98, 99 point range, and 3 or 4 of them at most. So really interesting of how that's going to end up. You've got Crown at an 86.4, 8/10 back of Vanguard in their first meeting of the season. Good result for them. Boston 85.55, not necessarily where they want to be. Spirit 77.4, 70 even for Music City, and 66.65 for Jersey Surf. Second show last night was the Diablo Valley Classic in Pittsburgh, California. Open class corps only show here, 7 open class corps in attendance. General effect caption, we had everybody go as is, as has been the theme this season. The only exception to that, Impulse and Blue Devil C tying at a 20.6 for 5th place. Heading over to visual proficiency, Blue Devils B just 3/10 up on the Vanguard Cadets. Gold in third, not ginormously back of Vanguard Cadets, but still pretty far back, 5/10. You've got Golden Empire 4th, Impulse 5th, and Incognito jumps Blue Devil C for 6th place at 10.2 to a 10 even. Visual analysis, the only out of placement thing there is Blue Devil C passes Impulse, and then Color Guard Incognito above Impulse and Blue Devil C. Overall visual, what does that all mean? Everybody finishes where they place. You've got Blue Devils B at the top at a 21.15, 5/10 above Vanguard Cadets at a 20.65. Gold in third at a 19.7. Golden Empire gets a 18.5 for 4th. Impulse 5th with a 15.55. Blue Devils C 6th, a 15.3. And Incognito in 7th with a 15.25. In music, looking at brass first, really music is Vanguard Cadets' strong point this season. With only a week left in their season, both them and Blue Devils B, plus you throw in Impulse, Blue Devils C, and Incognito. On that, with Golden Empire, the only two cores going to championships. Really, really interesting of how Blue Devils B and Vanguard Cadets will finish the next week off. Vanguard Cadets, as I was saying, music's their best caption, just 2/10 behind Blue Devils B there. Gold also kind of close, only 6/10 behind Blue Devils B as well, so they're pretty close. Then you got Golden Empire 4th, Impulse 5th. Incognito does jump Blue Devils C by a sizable margin, 6/10 in brass. In music analysis, Vanguard Cadets only won on the night, comes in music analysis. They win it by only 1/10 over Blue Devils B, with Gold coming just 5/10 back of Vanguard Cadets there. And then over in music percussion, Blue Devils B 5/10 up on the Vanguard Cadets. Overall totals, you've got Blue Devils B at 21.45, 3/10 over the Vanguard Cadets at a 21.15. Gold strong in music at 20.6. Golden Empire 19.7. Impulse 15.9. Blue Devils C 14.1. They're jumped by Incognito, though, in music by 2/10. Overall totals, Blue Devils B 71.7. They're 1.5 above Vanguard Cadets. Vanguard Cadets do close that a little bit, but not necessarily 100% as close as they need to be. Gold in third at a 67.8, very close to those top two compared to past years. Golden Empire fourth, a 62.5. Impulse in fifth with a 52.05. Sixth place goes to Blue Devils C at a 50 even. They break 50, and Incognito comes in seventh with a 48.75. Third show last night was Drums Across the River region in Millbrook, Alabama, Southwind's home show. So you got 4 open class cores here: the Legends, the Louisiana Stars, Southwind, and Heatwave, plus their exhibition performances by the Southern Knights, Carolina Gold, and the Atlanta Corvettes, 3 DCA cores. In general effect, in open class, again, everybody finishes as they finish. You've got the Legends at a 26.5, Louisiana Stars second at a 25.2. That's a big margin for the Legends. Southwind in third, and then Heatwave down in fourth. So what's the big takeaway that you should watch for as I go through here? It's the Legends. They come out, and really, we didn't know how they fare against Louisiana Stars and Southwind. We knew they probably win, but only by a point. They end up winning by almost 3 points. So just keep in mind the margins as I go through here. Heading over to visual, we've seen Southwind and Louisiana Stars be close in their first few shows of the season. Not necessarily keeping that true at this one. One of the things where they're close in was visual analysis. That judge gave the Legends first at 13 even, but Southwind second by a 1/10 over the Louisiana Stars, and then Heatwave in fourth. Same in color guard, but Southwind tops Louisiana Stars by 2/10 there. So overall visual, we've got the Legends at an 18.95, Louisiana Stars at a 17.95, a whole point separating those two, with Southwind actually defeating Louisiana Stars for second place at an 18 even, and a Heatwave down in fourth at a 15.4. In music, we had in brass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, I should say, 12.8 for Legends, a whole point over the Louisiana Stars. Music analysis, again, a whole point between Legends and Louisiana Stars, and then in percussion, even more than the point, 1.1. So overall music, 20.45 for the Legends, 18.9 for the Louisiana Stars, 18.35 for Southwind. So even though Southwind doesn't defeat the Louisiana Stars in anything in music, they still do come pretty close, just 5.5 back. Heatwave then in fourth at a 15.85. Overall totals, Legends come extremely close to breaking 66, a 65.9 last night. The Louisiana Stars in second at a 62.05. Maybe not necessarily how close they wanted to get to the Legends, but still a good score for them. Same with Southwind at a 60.95, and then Heatwave down in fourth at a 52.25. Another big takeaway you can say, I'm not sure how much we can really take away from this, but the Legends are 65.9. I was just talking about Gold out on the West Coast a moment ago. and gold's up in the 67s, almost to 68. So is gold really that far ahead? Probably not. But still, they are pretty close. And I know I've been saying this season's not shaping up to be ultra competitive like we once thought it would be. Well, open classes, Legends, Spartans, Gold, many cores coming close there. The final DCI show of the night was Tour of Champions Northern Illinois in DeKalb, Illinois. Phantom Regiment hosted the event. General effect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm telling you, the rule of everybody finishing where they place in general effect this season is just how it is. If you finish first in general effect, you're gonna finish first in the show. Heading over to visual, one of the big things here, we're not really looking at the top. We're not looking at the Bluecoats. We're not looking at the Cavaliers because they kind of separate themselves a little bit. But looking at the Blue Stars, Mandarins, Phantom Regiment, that middle group, it does get interesting. You see the Mandarins top the Blue Stars in visual proficiency by 4/10, and then the Phantom Regiment's 2/10 back of the Blue Stars. Phantom, they were connecting in color guard. They were on an upward climb. And I know I keep saying this, but if there's one core I cannot figure out their results, and by watching them, and I'll say it right now, I did not see Phantom last night. I was watching the other show at the time, the Memphis event. But I saw a clip of Phantom on YouTube the other day, and I can't figure out their scores. I understand why they're ahead of Spirit, but I'm not getting where stuff's coming from, and especially music. I'll get to in a second. I mean, brass, they should be through the roof. Percussion, they are through the roof, and then other things like general effect, they should be a little farther down. Just things I can't get Phantom score. It's just one of those things bugging me right now with scores on the DCI tour. So, just to finish out, visual, Bluecoats win with a 26-5. I'm not surprised if the Bluecoats beat the Blue Devils this coming week on Tuesday in Broken Arrow. That's not going to surprise me at all. They're really, really good right now. The Cavaliers second, Blue Stars third, Mandarins finish fourth there, Phantom fifth. Academy tops the Colts for sixth, Colts in seventh, then Madison in eighth. Over in music, you got those top three, and then you've got Phantom ahead of the Mandarins, but it's only by a 10th. The Mandarins brass has shown to be very good. So is Phantom. That opening hit with Carmina Burana, that is one of my favorite moments in a show this season. Just the power of the horn line, and just it is amazing. So, yeah. And then going down to the bottom of brass, you've got Colts Academy Madison. Heading over to music analysis, 1 through 8, stay as is. Percussion, we've seen it be interesting, and it was last night. 4/10, Bluecoats above the Cavaliers for first. Then you've got Phantom in third. Yes, we've seen their percussion be strong. A 10th over the Blue Stars, and then you have to go pretty far back for the Mandarins, a 15-9. And percussion's not been their strong suit over the last few years either. Colts in sixth, Madison in seventh, Academy in eighth. Looking at the overall music totals, the only out of placement cores, Phantom, they jump the Mandarins for fourth by 2/10 in music. Looking at overall totals, then 87.5 for the Bluecoats, above where Vanguard scored last night, and also the Bluecoats' best score of the season. Second, 83.55 the Cavaliers. Third place goes to the Blue Stars at an 81.15. Fourth is the Mandarins at 79.45. Fifth is a 78.85 for Phantom Regiment. Sixth, 75.5 for the Colts. Academy gets a 74.65 for seventh, and the Madison Scouts in eighth with a 73.05. The final show from last night was Drum Corps Grand Prix in Clifton, New Jersey. Hawthorne Caballeros hosted the event. One A-class score there. You've got the Skyliners. They put up a 59.25. And then over on the open class side of things, you've got 6 scores. In visual performance, the only out-of-placement core here is the Hurricanes. They do jump Fusion Core a 14.6 to a 14.35. The Buccaneers and Cavaliers do seem pretty close this season, but I still would expect the Buccaneers to win right now and expect Atlanta CV to be the only core that can knock them off. Looking at music, you've got Fusion Core above the Bushwhackers there, 21.7 to a 20.95, so really a big margin there. And then in effect, visual effect, you've got Hurricanes above Fusion Core, 4th and 5th. And then in music, you've got them going as is. Overall effect, 1 through 6 as they finish. Buccaneers, 80.25 for the win. Cavaliers comes second with a 78.2. Third place, 72.6 for the Bushwhackers, 70.65. Maybe a little disappointing for Fusion Core. I think they want to be a little higher right now. Fifth, 69 even for the Hurricanes, and the Sunrisers in sixth at a 57.7. So after that very action-packed Saturday night, Sunday features 2 more DCI and also like a DCI-DCA mixed show I'll get to in a second. First up though, DCI St. Louis, Belleville, Illinois. This event was held in St. Louis, Missouri last year at the Dome in America Center, but nobody really knows what happened. DCI pulled that show and decided to go to this high school's event as an alternative. So 7 o'clock, Welcome and National Anthem, all-time central here. 7:10 open class, the Guardians. Only open class score here. Can they break 60? That'd be good for them. Looking at the 8 world class scores, then you've got the Colts, Spirit of Atlanta, Phantom Regiment, the Mandarins, then an intermission, the Blue Stars, Boston Crusaders, Bluecoats, and the Cavaliers to round out the night. What are we watching for here? The Bluecoats. Can they continue on the upward climb? 88-89 is their next big things to break. I don't think they break either of them tonight, to be honest. I think they stay in the 87s. But how do they fare? When we're looking at the Boston Crusaders and the Cavaliers, this is their first head-to-head matchup of the season. I expect Boston to be ahead, but how much do they win by? You get the Blue Stars, Mandarins, Phantom Regiment, Spirit of Atlanta. Some of those scores have been together recently. Some haven't been together in a while. So how do they all fall tonight? Then also we're looking at the Colts there as well. Can they pull closer to Spirit tonight as well? And that second show, I was talking about like the DCI-DCA mix show, is the Atlanta Brass Classic in Woodstock, Georgia. 7:30 Eastern Time, this gets underway. 7:40, we have the first DCA performance. So DCA Open Class Core in the Southern Knights, DCA A Class Core in Carolina Gold, and then DCA Open Class Core in Atlanta CV. So those 3 DCA cores being judged on DCA sheets tonight. 8:31, an intermission. 8:46, DCI Open Class gets underway with Heatwave, then Southwind, Louisiana Stars, and the Legends, followed by an encore, and then scores will be announced. So what are we looking for here? You've got the Legends. Can they continue to pull away from the Louisiana Stars and Southwind? It was a really sizable gap last night. So can they continue to head in the right direction there, the Legends? You've got the Louisiana Stars and Southwind. Southwind's not totally in the rear view mirror of the Louisiana Stars. Can they maybe pass them tonight? We'll have to wait and see. And then also Heatwave here. Their big battle is going to be getting into open class finals. And they're going to be contending with cores like the Lace Centaurs and the Raiders and the Colt Cadets. And so they need to continue an upward climb. I think the Colt Cadets may have separated themselves. But those other cores, they will be contending with Heatwave for a spot. And I think it would mean a lot for each of those cores, especially Heatwave, because they have not ever made open class finals to make it this season. So thank you for watching the podcast today. Just a few things. Make sure to visit my website, drumcorecentral.weebly.com, for all the latest updates from the DCI and DCA summer tours, scores, schedules, leaderboards, and more can all be found on my own personal website about all things drum corps. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at DrumCorps Geek, and subscribe to the Show Day podcast on YouTube, where this podcast and more will be posted. Finally, leave your thoughts in the comment sections, questions, input, comments, etc. All greatly appreciated. So thank you for watching the podcast. As the coming week progresses, I'm going to be putting out a lot of new content, both new podcasts and also kind of a mid-season check on some of these cores, world-class cores in particular, and really what their weaknesses, strengths are right now. And I'll be posting on my website, and then also more content coming forward from me as the season goes on. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll be back tomorrow.